Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Gotro. This is Aaron Johnson, and today we are demonstrating a few things here. I know that you guys are on our Raging Cajun number 1 well, and I'm going to explain to you what we've encountered. So as of now, we've drilled 2 horizontal wells, we've drilled several vertical wells, and for demonstration purposes, I'm going to show you what's happening here. So when we drill our vertical wells, as you can see, our reservoir is limited. You know, there's typically a circumference of so much that you can get out of the reservoir. When you drill horizontally, the idea is to come in and capture as much of it as you can. So although these wells cost a lot more money to drill, you get a whole lot more of the reservoir, which makes it worth it. So on the first horizontal we drilled, we had seismic data, but we did not drill a pilot hole. And when you drill a pilot hole, you're coming down here and you're looking at the well as you come out of it to find out where the formation is. So we drilled a pilot hole for our Raging Cajun number 1 well, which was our second horizontal well. So we drill the pilot hole, come back out of the hole, find out what we have, and when we find out that it's there, we come over here, we drill our horizontal like this. And as you can see, the only part of the formation that we get is right here. This was 620 feet of the pay zone. And we're targeting 4,000 feet. So that was what we have, that's what we have for our Raging Cajun number 1. It's actually not bad, it's still climbing up, production's getting better. Should be a little bit better than what I thought it was going to be, considering we only got 620 feet out of the 4,000 feet we were targeting. The Alexander Omega number 2, had we drilled a pilot hole, that probably would have been an amazing well. We had seismic, we thought that was going to work, but here's what happened. We come down here, we drill the well, and our seismic tells us that the formation's here. So when we make this bend, we got nothing until right here. So all of our production here is just a few hundred feet out of this well. So here's what we've uncovered. Through all of these millions of dollars that we've spent and all of this work that we've done, what we figured out is that we need 2 things. We need seismic and a pilot hole. The seismic data doesn't tell you where hydrocarbons are, but it tells you how high on structure you are. So what you're looking for is something like this, where the oil drains a few degrees in this direction. And then so what we'll do to avoid any problems and make sure that we capture the whole reservoir is we come through here, we drill the well, we find out that our reservoir is there, we match that data up with this data. So once we come into here, we follow it all the way through the formation. So now we're getting a reservoir that is meteoric compared to the 2 reservoirs that we had in our Alexander Omega 2 and our Raging Cajun 1. So Aaron, if you'll open this up. First page is fine. So here's what we're showing is an article. So you guys that have this package will see this. It's an article about a well that was drilled about 600 feet in the Marble Falls Formation. The well made over 900 barrels of oil equivalent per day. It was an anomaly. Obviously, they went out 600 feet. They captured some huge reserves. You don't see that very often, but it just shows you the kind of firepower that these horizontal wells have in the Marble Falls. And if you can see, we're drilling in North Texas, and flip that page over. Okay, this demonstrates that we have a lot of history in the field. Every time we drill a Marble Falls well, we've made it work. But again, these vertical reservoirs that we've tapped into are limited. And so we're typically hitting wells that produce between 10 and 50 barrels of oil a day. Although we see several that produce a lot more than that, the ones that we've hit are between 10 and 50 barrels of oil a day. And since this reservoir and these horizontals can be 20 times the size of the reservoirs that you hit when you're drilling vertical wells, that's how you can achieve, you know, between 100 and several hundred, if not a few thousand barrels of oil a day. So here's what we're doing. We're showing everybody that we're drilling in the middle of an oil field, but more importantly, that we have a lot of production in the area, and we've proven that every time we drill a Marble Falls well, it works. But most importantly, what's really simple is this. This is how we drill a horizontal well. And what we've seen though is that these formations are not just blanket sands. This is not really what they look like. This was for demonstration purposes only, and what we're seeing is that these formations, they shift. They look like this. Well, with seismic, we're going to be able to find the most ideal place to drill, which is what we thought we were doing with well number 1. This wasn't too bad, but when the seismic was off, we entered the formation in the wrong place. Had we have drilled a pilot hole on the first horizontal well we drilled, that well would have been huge, but we didn't do that. But what this is doing is this is showing you that if we have seismic and we drill a pilot hole, we're not only going to be able to find the most ideal place to drill this well, but even if it were to shift, if you drilled a pilot hole and you had seismic, so had we had seismic on the second well we drilled, we would have followed that formation just like that. Had we had a pilot hole in the first well we drilled, we would have entered the formation in the correct place, correlated the data, and we would have had a formation that we would have been able to produce everything from. And so what we're trying to demonstrate is that once you capture the entire reservoir, the 3,000 to 4,000 feet that you're targeting, you can make meteoric reserves. And that is the premise for us showing you what we're showing you. And if you go back to our front page here, it's a financial spreadsheet, converts oil into dollars. Your account executive can show you how that works. It's no different than some of these others that you've looked at before. But the bottom line is this, folks. Obviously, this is not the type of well we wanted to drill, neither one of these, although this one seems to be a lot better, the raging occasion number 1, than I expected, which is good. But when you drill wells that don't work the way that you want them to, you learn an enormous amount that you did not know before. And so what we know from well number 2, the Alexander Omega number 2, the raging occasion number 1 is that we really need both. We need a pilot hole and seismic. That is going to be the difference maker in what we're doing. So I know some of you folks are happy, some of you may be a little discouraged. I've got a mixed bag of emotions. I've been doing this a long time. I just know that given the data that we have now, I really highly encourage everybody that's not on the raging occasion number 2 to participate. It's a great opportunity given the fact that we've poured millions and millions of dollars into these 2 wells and we've acquired so much data. I can assure you that whatever we produce from this raging occasion number 2 well, I'm confident that we can duplicate over and over again. The problem is that once we do that, it will capture the attention of a lot of the major oil companies like ExxonMobil, Phillips, a lot of those folks that you've heard of, household names. And as soon as they get their eyes on something like this, they come in, they pay an enormous amount of money to lease the acreage. We can't afford to compete with the major oil companies, and so we have a short life expectancy given the fact that we could probably do 4 or 5 or 6 of these before they move in. So although we've got a short runway, we've got enough of a runway with a few partners to make a lot of money together. And that's what we're doing. So take a look at this. We can't wait to talk to you, call you, go over anything that you want to go over. And if you have any other questions about any of the other wells that you're on, don't hesitate to call me or Aaron. Right, Aaron?
Right.
Okay.